Hello guys, it's been 2 years and I'm still trying to read manga on e-ink devices. Today let's talk about the Boox Go 10.3. Initially it checks all the boxes with its 10.3 inch 300 ppi Carta 1200 screen running Android 12. But unfortunately no Carta 1300 screen, which is claimed to increase contrast by 20% because
Redacted, yeah.
sometimes I wonder if we should just start to completely ignore that this technology even exists. Anyhow, the tablet has no backlight, but it is a non-issue if you're reading with appropriate ambient lighting, which is preferred anyway. It is really light and fast. Using it for reading manga is a nice experience thanks to the Android ecosystem. I do not want to repeat much of my first video which I made on reading manga on e-ink devices, so if you want even more rambling, you can just go and watch the old video. So let's take a look at some pictures, shall we? A short disclaimer beforehand, taking pictures of books, displays and so forth, well, it's not that easy, so you have to take everything that you see with a grain of salt, but I think it is good enough to illustrate the issues I still have with those devices. So as you can see on the books, the whites and blacks are kind of grayish, everything is kind of grayish and lacking in contrast, even though the fonts appear to be almost as sharp as on the paper. They do not pop out from the background, and so it makes it quite hard to read compared to, for example, the LCD screen. Here, if we just compare the books and the LCD screen, you can see it's a bit better here because this kind of content where it's just black and white and not that much gray is what is the most optimal kind of content you can view on the books. When there's a lack of gray, it does not really make it that obvious that everything has this kind of grayish tint. But as you can see on the lines, if you compare it with the LCD screen again, they are really not that contrasty, not popping out. Of course, you can make this a bit better in the settings if you want to, but unfortunately, overall, the lack in contrast and those grayish whites are still everywhere, and for me at least it makes the reading experience not that nice, even compared to a tablet where you will adjust to the bluish tint, but you will still be able to read everything quite easily. Now if we look at this picture again from a different manga, it is quite obvious again. In the middle we have the paper version, and then we have the Boox, which has this overall grayish tint on everything, and of course here we have the bluish tint. But even though we have this kind of problem that is a non-problem on other LCD devices, there's still more contrast in my opinion, and everything pops out more, which makes the reading experience more engaging, and on the books it just feels a bit dull and lifeless, at least for my taste. So again guys, I'm not trying to shit on the books. As you can see here in isolation, it looks fairly decent. Of course everything is still a bit grayish and lacks in contrast, but if you're okay with this kind of experience, well, maybe I'm just a bit special. So let's take a look at the reading experience in video form for a second. As you can see, turning the pages goes fairly quick. There's a full refresh going on to minimize ghosting, and as you can see, it is really effective. This was a bit of an issue on the Kindle Scribe for me, but here it's very good. The screen flashing when turning the pages can be a bit annoying at first, but you get used to it fairly quickly. There's a bit of ghosting on top here. I don't know if you can see it, but as I said before, it's really minimal, and even in paper manga you can see the shine through from other pages at certain times. Now let's come to a conclusion. At least for me, nothing has changed. E-ink is still not a satisfactory experience for reading manga, and I'm not sure if the lack of contrast gets amplified by the additional layers on top of the display, but I will likely never find out if this is true or not, because over 7 inches devices all have some sort of protective layer of glass with another screen protector glued on top of it. If I was shopping around for a device where I spend a lot of time reading manga, I would still prefer an Android tablet with ideally a 10 to 11 inch display. And that's it. Have a nice day.